All right, welcome to the 12th edition of the Ouachita Switchbacks. This is your pre-race briefing to help prepare you. If you need help finding the directions to the start, go to the ouachita.switchbacks.com website. You can also find a video with course preview. It also tells you how to get there, but it's basically 1 mile of north of Big Cedar, Oklahoma, and there's a forest road. Sign says Pashubi Trailhead. 4 miles down that forest road, and it'll look like you're in the middle of nowhere, and that is because you are in the middle of nowhere, and that's where the race begins. Well, this forecast, it wouldn't be the Switchbacks if it wasn't an interesting forecast. Looks like there's going to be some snow Friday morning at the higher elevations. There's probably going to be some more, and then bitter cold temperatures, but you know what? I think it's going to all be good. Hopefully we don't get a lot of accumulation of snow, because that could impact the 50K, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because we got all day Friday, and I think we'll be able to get up there and access those aid stations. So I think we're going to be good to go. So that's the good news. And the cold weather, come prepared for that. It's a good idea to pack a lighter, pack your phone just for emergencies. Wear layers. You guys know what to do with regards to that, but do come prepared, because of course it is going to be cold, and there are no facilities at the start and the finish, no electricity or anything like that, and it is a remote location. We have bib numbers. You can pick those up the day before, or you can pick them up race morning. Please come a little early. Don't come 5 or even 15 or 20 minutes before the start of the race, because it gets hectic. And once you have your bib, if you get your bib, we are presuming that you are starting the race, and that's how we know you're on the course. If you get your bib and you say you come Friday and you get your bib and you decide not to start, you need to call me. My phone number is in the email I'm sending. It's 918-658-0478. But you need to contact us, because we need to know, because we're going to think that you're out there. And then when you get to the aid stations, let them know your bib number. We're tracking you there, so we know your approximate location. This is for safety reasons. So each aid station is keeping track of you. Some other news, if you notice what I'm wearing, this is this year's hoodie. It's Heather Scarlet Red, and I think it turned out nice. So hopefully you like that. We got plenty of hoodies for everyone. However, we've got a lot of entries this year. We're capped at 200. We're letting 210 in, because I'm going to presume the Forest Service limits us to 200, but I think I can safely presume 10 people are going to get up and think it's too cold. So I think we'll be okay. But nonetheless, if you come at the last minute, there's a chance you may not get the size you like. But I think we'll probably be able to accommodate everyone. We try hard to anyway. Early start. We have every year 20 to 30 people that start at 7 a.m. and I encourage that, especially if you think that you may need extra time. For sure, please do that. Just let us know when you finish so we have an accurate time. And if you want to start earlier than 7 a.m., that's fine too. Let us know, but you will need a headlamp, because it is not visible until about 7 is when it gets just light enough to see the trail. And so yeah, feel free to do that. If you do start early and you're moving at a swift pace, that first aid station may not be available. We'll be setting that up a little bit before 8 o'clock, and you might get there ahead of time. So just make sure you have enough supplies. Time limits. With this cold, in the past, we've kind of been lenient on time limits, because I want to encourage people to finish, and we want people to finish. We want them to have that sense of accomplishment. But this year, with this extreme cold, we don't want to play any games. We don't want people out there after dark. So Steve Griffin has been kind enough to be our course sweeper. He will be the last runner in. And if Steve catches up to you and you're not able to stay with him, you need to get a ride in. The Cutoff times, 12:45 for the Horse Thief Springs, that's 50K on the way back, the second time you hit that. 2 o'clock for 25 and 50K at the Mountaintop Aid Station. Steve's gonna be up there at 2 o'clock, and if you can't continue on with him at his pace, then you need to get a ride in. And that's no problem, that's fine. You know, you had a good race, you had a good day, but don't argue with us because it's safety. And then 4 o'clock at the Highway Aid Station, that gives you about an hour and a half. 5:30, it gets pretty dark by 5:30. So that gives you an hour and a half to finish that last 3.7. And if you're moving at that pace, you'll need every bit of that. So Steve will be there at 4 p.m. at the Highway Aid Station. And if you're not able to continue with Steve at his pace, then we'll give you a ride in. Please adhere to those. That's why the early start is so important if you think you'll need more time. And again, we want to encourage, we want people to finish, but at the same time, we have to be mindful of safety issues. Plenty of parking. Sometimes you have to walk a little further away. And, you know, I mean, come on, you ran 10 miles, 25 or 50K. I know your legs are rubber, but you can walk that last bit. But do park on the left side of the forest road. And there's one spot there that has a little, just a tiny spot with some mud. But cars can slide there and run into a parked car. So I'll have that marked off with caution tape. Don't park there. Leave no trace, no trash. We have to be, it is as if we never were there in the forest. This is a permitted event from the National Forest Service. And of course, that's just being a good human, is not leaving trash. So please do not leave trash. Plenty of camping. Join us. Myself, as well as the usual friends, we're always camping out there. I don't know that we'll be sitting around the campfire much this year. It'll be so cold. But nonetheless, the hardy souls will be out there camping. There's plenty of spaces for that. You know, car camp, tent camp. If you're really brave, tent camp. Blake McGee, he has got this big army tent, and so we're gonna have that set up at the finish for the finish line celebration. And if you wanted to camp in there, there's room. Bring a cot, bring a sleeping bag. It's gonna be cold. We're not gonna have heaters going in there all night. That just would be too much. But bring your own little space heater, a propane heater if you want. Feel free to. The only thing is really large RVs are really hard to maneuver down there. I would not bring more than 20, 25 feet max RV, or you will have trouble turning that thing around. But other smaller RVs would be fine. And I think that's about it. I'm sure I'm missing something. I'm really looking forward to it. If you did Athens Big Fork, if I saw you out there last weekend, way to go. You're going to get the double, going to do it. Let me know so I can get that for you. In my email I mentioned, it looks like we might be a little short on mugs. If you don't want a mug, just please pass on it. We got people collecting them and people that never done the race before, and they would like to have their first mug. If you don't get one and you want one, I will make sure that you get one after the race. I'll order some more. And then I want to thank people. The United States Forest Service. I want to thank Steve Griffin for being our sweep, and he always sticks around and helps clean up, and he's so nice. There's so many people that do that. There's so many people I have to thank, and I don't. You know, Dora Bray, I've got to see her. For years she helped out, her and her husband, who sadly a couple of years ago passed away from cancer, but they were out there every year, you know, making this event possible for you, as well as other volunteers. Of course, Blake McGee and bringing the tent. Kathy Myers, she's working the Horse Thief Aid Station. Make sure you're kind to the aid station people. Mitch Maddock, he's going to work the Mountaintop Aid Station. My brother's bringing a four-wheeler because we have to get those supplies up there. It has to be a four-wheeler. There's not a road up there. It's trail. You'll see that, those that are doing the 50K. And of course, I want to thank my wife. We started this race now 12, 13 years ago, just invited some friends. I told her, you know, can you make some soup or something, and we'll bring it out there. And we had like 30 people, and now it's become this thing that just takes up so much of our time. And she's such a good sport for putting up with our craziness, and she probably does more work than anybody else. So please thank her. And then of course the Choctaw Pace program. It is the best program. I do like 15 of their races every year. I love it. I am so grateful for it. I am so grateful that they make us a part of their program because they introduced so many people who didn't even know this trail was there, the Ouachita Trail, National Recreation Trail that runs for 200 some miles. And it just awakens them to what a beautiful place that we live in, and the chance to get out into nature. And that's why I have the John Muir quotes on the hoodies, because what he expresses is part of that feeling of being out there in nature. And I think you like this quote, you explore the universe through a forest wilderness, some paraphrase of that. So, all right, we'll see you guys out there. I'm looking forward to it. It's always one of my favorite weekends of the year. And drive safe.